The best skincare products from 2021, according to me and my skin. Keep watching. Now, these are the holy grail products that I found for me and my skin. Keywords, me and my skin. But in watching this, you might be able to pick up on some hints on how to find products that will work for you. Timestamps will be listed below so that you can reference back and maybe zero in on something that you want to watch. However, I do encourage you to watch the full video. Cleansers. One of my favorites this year was the Paula's Choice Hydrating Cleanser. I learned about this when my homie Saj and I did a skincare swap, and I'm literally probably on like my 4th bottle of it this year. It has a very nice texture. Texture is something that I do love to experience in skincare, and I love that it cleansed my skin without stripping it, because your skin should not feel squeaky clean after you cleanse it, because you might be doing a little barrier damage if you keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to damage your barrier. Another cleanser that I have loved this year is the Roche-Posay Lipikar. Now, this is something that you can use on your face, and you can also use it on your body, and I liked it for both. This was sent to me in PR, and it came in handy during times of the year when I had certain derm procedures done, peels, lasers, things that make the skin a little bit more sensitive than normal. And I wanted to make sure that I was using something that, you know, got the job of cleansing my skin done, but didn't have a bunch of ingredients in it that could further sensitize my skin. I do wind up using it more for my body than I do my face. My body skin tends to be dry while my facial skin tends to be oily. So this was something that, you know, in the warmer months is like, probably not for my face in the warmer months, but definitely all year round for my body. I also used this along with the Lipikar lotion back when I had a little bout of perioral dermatitis, which is like these little bumps around your mouth. I got those, it sounds crazy, but I got those, I think, from some sort of like imbalance of like medications that I was taking when I was hospitalized earlier this year. You know, that was a whole long painful story, but you know, possibly a kidney stone, which I would not want even my worst enemy to experience. So next category, vitamin C. And this is where you could really pick up some notes, because vitamin C, as well as other skincare, there's not really a one size fits all. So with vitamin C, there is a 3-part series guide, which I highly suggest you check out. One is a vitamin C guide for black skin. One is one in which we talk about derivatives of vitamin C, and then we talk about pure L-ascorbic acid. So make sure you check out those videos for the tea. So this year I loved 3 vitamin C products. The first being the Olay Vitamin C plus Peptide 24. I actually got to try this for quite some time before it went out on the market earlier this year. I tried the Hydrating Moisturizer, which I loved because it combined 2 steps in my daytime routine. I'm a minimalist. I like to get in and get out. So I would wash my face, I would put this moisturizer on, wait a few minutes, and then put my sunscreen on. What I love about this moisturizer, it is very, very hydrating. The texture feels really silky smooth. This vitamin C line uses 3-O-ethyl ascorbic acid, which is a derivative of vitamin C that will help to brighten the skin. And this also contains amino peptide to help prop up collagen. Collagen is the protein in the skin that keeps it snatched, and every year after the age of 25, you lose about 1% of collagen. I hit 40 not too long ago, so technically I'm running at 15% collagen loss over here. This also contains our good friend niacinamide, which happens to be in a lot of our skincare products. Niacinamide is a multifunctioning ingredient that can do a lot of things for the skin. It can help to protect the skin's barrier. It can help to even out the skin. It can help to kind of calm things down. Niacinamide is like the Viola Davis of skincare. Or would it actually be the Whoopi Goldberg, since she's an EGOT? You know what I mean. Another vitamin C product that I love this year, the Hyper Skin Brightening Vitamin C Serum. This is from a Black-owned brand. I know and love the founder. As a matter of fact, there was a live where we kind of talked about hyperpigmentation and things of that nature. I will link it on my Instagram, and you don't have to have an Instagram to watch it, so, you know, just click the link and watch it if you want to see it. So this also contains 3-O-ethyl ascorbic acid, which I mentioned before is a derivative of vitamin C. It's gentler on the skin, so if you're someone who has never tried vitamin C before, you know, perhaps a derivative is your entryway into vitamin C. This also contains kojic acid, which is known for brightening and evening the skin, and it also contains hyaluronic acid. So this is where, you know, a lot of times where I tell some of you guys, like, when you ask me, oh, can I combine this and this and this and that? And it's like, get something that's formulated with a bunch of things in it. Like this and the vitamin C from Olay were formulated with, you know, a number of ingredients. So you're not having to, you know, have the dropper of this and a dropper of that and, you know, think of what I'm going to mix it with. You know, just get a product that's formulated with the ingredients that you like in it already. Another vitamin C product that I love this year, also from a Black-owned brand, is the BEAUTYSTAT Vitamin C Skin Refiner Serum. This contains 20% pure L-ascorbic acid, and there's a video where I talked with the founder, Ron Robinson of BEAUTYSTAT, all about it, so make sure you check that out. Really great video talking about vitamin C in its purest form, derivative. As much as I like this product, I did have to ease my way in, okay? This something you want to take some baby steps with. You don't want to go full on guns a-blazing with a product like this. And for some of you, it may not be the product for you at all because it may just be too strong for your skin. So as always, you do a patch test instead of slapping things on and hoping and praying for the best. Thoughts and prayers probably not gonna work in that instance. There's a debate about whether, you know, you should use pure vitamin C or if you should use derivatives, which one is better. And that's all gonna boil down to your skin, what's in your routine, and some other factors. Make sure you check out that series that I told you about because that's going to be able to give you some insight into all of that. So next category, sunscreen. So I do a lot of mineral sunscreen reviews here on this channel, even though I myself personally don't wear mineral sunscreens on a regular basis. I do it because mineral sunscreens do tend to suck when it comes to deeper skin, and there are a population of us that have to wear them because of, you know, maybe they're allergic to some of the UV filters that are used in chemical sunscreens, or maybe people just prefer to use a mineral sunscreen. But my baby is definitely using chemical sunscreens. I don't have very reactive skin. My skin is oily, and I just like a sunscreen to be lightweight. I don't want to spend a whole bunch of money on them. And I prefer that they don't smell like, you know, grandma's, you know, Chanel No. 5. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind if there's fragrance in it, but just don't kill me. So I'm not extremely picky when it comes to my sunscreens. I just need them to be lightweight and that they work with my oily skin throughout the various seasons that we get here in New York. So a couple of my faves this year, I would say probably the one that I used probably the most often this year was the Kose Suncut UV Perfect Gel SPF 50+ with a PA of 4+. I love this, especially in the warmer months. It is super lightweight. I could wear it on its own. I didn't need a moisturizer underneath when it was really hot. As things started to cool down in the fall, I would put a moisturizer on and then put this on top. I haven't used it much as it's like really cold now because I ran out and I have 50 million other sunscreens, but I would assume that I probably would not use it in the colder months because I would probably just use a heavier sunscreen that's better suited for the colder months instead of, you know, doing all the extra steps and sometimes because a little extra steps is a lot for me sometimes. I also love the Nivea UV Water Gel. This is a Japanese sunscreen, SPF 50+, PA of 4+. This is definitely a super lightweight, something that I would wear mostly during the warmer months, although I found as it cooled down that this wasn't bad. In the winter, I'd probably have to put a moisturizer on first, wait a couple minutes, and then put that on top. I like the lightweight, fluid, very liquidy kind of sunscreens. That's usually, you know, my way I like to live, you know? And typically they're usually either Korean or Japanese sunscreens, although there's some American ones, like the next one. The Kroger Invisible Gel SPF 40, which is a dupe for another fave of mine, the Supergoop Unseen Sunscreen. I have a video comparing the two. Make sure you check it out. I like the Kroger one even better than the Supergoop Unseen. The only issue with the Kroger one is that if you don't live in a state where they have a Kroger or similar family brand supermarkets in your state, it's gonna be a little hard to find. You can buy it online, but the stock goes in and out online because it became popular. But when I go to Georgia for Christmas, I am definitely gonna be stocking up on a few. I don't know if I'll stock up like a lot because I already have so many sunscreens to go through, but you know, I'd be a fool to not go and get me at least 2 of them. And yes, I can use up that much sunscreen before they expire. I also wound up using the Supergoop Unseen Sunscreen because I've done a couple of like Sephora campaigns where I mentioned, you know, this is one of the better sunscreens at Sephora. And that one's really good too. But if you're looking to save some money, that Kroger one can't be beat as long as you can find it. Next up, moisturizers. So there are a couple of moisturizers this year that I really like that made my like holy grail list. I would say one of my favorites is the Kiehl's water gel. Now this is like a water gel or a gel cream. They go by so many names, bouncy moisturizer. These are one of my favorite textures in skincare. Essentially, they're very lightweight. Some of them may feel like very watery, where they hydrate the skin really, really well, and it doesn't make the skin feel heavy. Some of these, depending on the time of year and depending on your skin, it may feel like you need to put something more occlusive on top to kind of hold in that water, because some of these can feel like maybe an hour after you've put it on, depending on what the weather's doing. Maybe if it's really dry outside, it may feel like, wow, it feels like I've never put any moisturizer on at all. If that's the case for you, you might need to layer something on top or just switch out moisturizers altogether. Now, this is definitely not something that I feel like is the best moisturizer for me when it gets colder here in New York. I have 2 other moisturizers that I love for that. Now, one honorable mention, because I feel like I mentioned this in every like Holy Grail favorites video or blog post I've ever done, is the Olay Regenerist Micro Sculpting Cream and the fragrance free. That is definitely like one of my ultimate favorite moisturizers, but I was like, let me talk about some other stuff too. But this year I have really loved the Skin Fix Barrier Plus. I think that was a really good moisturizer. Definitely something that I have to wear either at night, where it doesn't matter that I have something a little bit of a thicker moisturizer on, or in the dead of winter, because it can feel a little, you know, can feel a little much on my skin. I have oily skin. I also liked the Paula's Choice Omega moisturizer. That one I picked up after watching Dr. Alexis Stevens' video on vitamin F, you know, the best moisturizers for hyperpigmentation. Make sure you check out that video because she has some tea. I also have a video testing a lot of those vitamin F moisturizers, so make sure you check that out. Now, here is where we get into the nitty gritty with some derm products that like really I feel changed the game for me this year. First being tretinoin. You definitely need to have a prescription to get this in the US. Outside of the US can be a different story. I'm using the 0.05. The brand that my dermatologist gave me is Altrino. It can go under, you know, different names. I don't know if one's better than the other. That's a conversation that you have with your dermatologist and, you know, what they prescribe for you. So, you know, you had that little conversation. But I will say that tretinoin is something that you have got to take baby steps when you try this. As a matter of fact, I have a video on the, you know, 10 things that you should not do when you get on the tretinoin, because, whew, it'll take your ass for a ride if you let it. But basically what tretinoin is, it's a retinoid, so vitamin A, and what it does is over time it can help with the skin's regeneration process. The skin has a process in which it repairs itself, where, you know, it's shedding the old skin cells and it's bringing, you know, the new, nice, shiny, plump, and juicy skin cells. Now, as we get older, that process tends to slow down a little bit slow down a lot for some of us, you know, unfortunately. And the use of, you know, topical vitamin A, whether that be a retinoid like tretinoin or retinol, which you can get over the counter, can help with that process. It also helps to increase the production of collagen. Collagen is the protein in the skin that keeps it snatched. After 25, like I mentioned before, we lose about 1% of collagen each year. So me as a 40-year-old baddie. It's also great for fine lines and wrinkles and other skin texture issues. If you think that maybe you want to get on tretinoin, again, this is a conversation to be had with your dermatologist. If you have no clue how to find a dermatologist, there is a video on how you can find one, a Skin of Color Pro, in your area, so make sure you check that out. Now, a lot of what I do in my skincare routine is for preventative measures, so sometimes I use something and it's not like you're gonna see like I'm trying to change something in my skin. But I found that using vitamin C in the morning along with my sunscreen and using a retinoid at night has definitely helped to maintain, you know, the vibrancy and the smooth texture and all of that for my skin. Now, another holy grail product that is from the dermatologist that I love is this compound that my dermatologist had prescribed for me. Now, I've talked about this in videos where I talked about how I got rid of my under eye discoloration, so make sure you check that out. And despite the fact that I keep saying there's no like name for it, it's just basically this one in particular has 15% hydroquinone, 6% kojic acid, and some other stuff that is not listed on the label here, but I remember maybe vitamin C or something like that being in here. But there's no name for it. You can't go to the dermatologist and be like, give me XYZ. This is something that the dermatologist, and a lot of dermatologists are able to do this for a number of different ailments. They may be able to tell the pharmacy, okay, give them this ingredient, and this ingredient in a compound and for this specific need, right? So again, there's no specific name for it. So stop asking me what the name of it is. And knowing the percentages that I used is also not going to help you, because you need to go to your dermatologist and listen to them. I went to my dermatologist and listened to her, and she prescribed what she felt was right for me. This helped to take down a lot of the discoloration I had underneath my eyes. When it comes to like dark circles, you can either have true dark circles where, you know, the skin is very thin there and you're seeing like the blood vessels underneath, or you can have something where there's actually discoloration there. I had the discoloration, and this helped to fade a good. Now, the thing is, this is a process, so please check out the other videos, because I also did a series of peels and other things, so check out the video for the full tea. But since this contains hydroquinone, and there's a lot of like misinformation about hydroquinone out there, but the thing that you do know about hydroquinone is that it's something that is not meant to be a long-term solution. You do 2 months on, 2 months off, you know, that kind of thing, as prescribed by your dermatologist. Another thing that I loved this year, my filler. And this is not just this year in particular. Filler has been something that has been a part of my routine since, I want to say 2018 is I think when I got my first tear trough filler. And there's videos on that, so make sure you check it out for the full tea. And I'm not even sure if I can say loss of volume, because I had them under eye hollows since I was like 5, right? But as I got older, it became more pronounced, and I definitely loved how the tear trough fillers help to address that. Now, would I do something that's a little bit more permanent? I don't know. I talked about that in another video where I talked about, you know, skincare procedures for, you know, if you're over 40. And it doesn't even have to be over 40, because most of these procedures I've gotten, I was still in my 30s, right? But what I did get this year that I hadn't gotten before was cheek filler. And I would definitely say that that was one of my like holy grail things that I did for my skin. So I have lost, I want to say maybe just under 30 pounds so far. A combination of watching what the heck I was eating on Weight Watchers and working out with a personal trainer several times a week helped me to lose that weight. But what happened was my face was sagging. And the funny thing is, I noticed a little bit of a sag, not anything dramatic where it was like skin drooping down here, but I noticed that my skin looked a little, like I looked a little, you know, like what's happening here? I went to Dr. Michelle and I'm like, okay, what can I do for this? And she mentioned cheek filler. And there's a video on it so you can see which type of filler that she used, because it's not the same filler that she used underneath my eyes. And I don't even remember. It's, I think, Juvederm Voluma or something like that. But watch the video to check that out. To me, it was something that helped me to look a bit more youthful, because, you know, the sagging skin, like, you know, you hard to look young and perky and your skin sagging, you know what I'm saying? So that I enjoyed. Would I do something a little bit more permanent? I don't know. Time will tell, right? Cheek fillers do last longer than the under eye stuff, so I'm probably here with it for quite some time, so we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Another procedure that I love this year, Botox. Botox is not something that I've only tried this year. I've tried it before. I think maybe the first time I got it was maybe 2020 before lockdown, or maybe it was 2019. I don't remember, but there's a video on it. Botox helps to relax the muscles, whereas filler kind of fills in, you know, where there's a loss of volume. Big difference between the two. I was getting Botox underneath my eyes, kind of help with some fine lines and wrinkles. I never notice the difference until the Botox wears off, because when I get it, I'm like, oh, okay, you know, I kind of look the same. When it wears off, I'm like, ooh, who that? Under eye Botox, definitely something that I liked in my routine. This year, I also got a slight Botox, what they call a Botox brow lift. I didn't notice a difference there at all. In the video where I talked about it, you know, one of you guys said you noticed a difference. I don't know. It's been so long that it's had to have worn off by now, and I don't notice a difference after, but it might be something that I discover later on looking at old videos where I'm like, oh shoot, yeah, that did make a difference. There's some other procedures that I've gotten done this year that I'm still kind of like in the process of getting, so I don't really have like, you know, a ton to say about it yet. EcoSure, which is a laser that helps with pigmentation. I've been getting that along this area here where I have like my natural contour lines that I've had probably since birth. And I got a little bit of it on my legs where the, you know, punk ass cat keeps scratching me, and the one on my legs, I'm not expecting that to, not that it's not gonna work. I just feel like once it starts to fade, the cat's just gonna scratch me again and I'm gonna have more to fade. So I just got that done because it was like, okay, let me see what happens with that. And there will be a video on the PicoSure down the line, so stay tuned for that. I also had a session of microneedling. There's a video on that, so make sure you check that out for the full tea. But essentially microneedling, I got RF microneedling with radio frequency. It's a lot different than, you know, the microneedling machines that you would use at home, and for the difference between the two, the tea for you in that other microneedling video. But essentially microneedling is where an injury is purposely provoked in order to stimulate collagen. And then with the radio frequency, that's a laser that's said to be colorblind, that's able to kind of go in further and help out with some issues. So you can do microneedling with radio frequency for a number of things. It can be used for tightening the skin. It can be used for pores, like how it was just the reason why I went for it. I've seen people use it for hair loss. So there's a number of reasons that you can do microneedling. But I'm not done with the microneedling, so we will have updates as I get them, as I have them for you, so stay tuned for that. I turned 40 this year. Being 40 is the most amazing feeling. If I could bottle this up and sell this to people for $39.95 for a 1 ounce bottle and become a millionaire, oh, I surely would. There's a lot of fear mongering around getting older, and I wish it wasn't so. I posted this IG reel where I was kind of like talking about like how my younger self thought that I'd be like washed and like old at 40, and now the difference that it is actually being 40. Like, I'm having the time of my life over here, right? I've never been this confident. I've never been this sure. I've never been this assertive. Like, we love it here. Now, you know, I also would like to look the best that I can. So, you know, making sure that I'm doing my vitamin C, making sure I'm wearing my sunscreen, making sure that I'm using my retinoid at night, and going to see my dermatologist for things that, you know, over-the-counter skincare can't address. That is my ministry. So now it is your turn to do the talking. Let me know in the comments what were your holy grail skincare products or procedures from 2021. In 2022, I definitely, and I think I've been saying this for the last 2-3 years and I haven't really done it yet, but I would like to go and get more facials. I think that would be a great way to really up the ante on my like overall skin. And then I don't even have to do anything crazy. Not even once a month. Maybe I'll do it once every other month, or maybe once a quarter or something like that. Just get a facial. But let me know what your goals are for your skin in 2022. I mentioned a lot of videos that you would probably want to check out here on this here channel, but I'm going to link you to some playlists. So one will be my filler, Botox, and all that kind of stuff playlist, as well as my playlist for Black skincare over 40. There's a lot of information in there for you to find out and digest. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.